The halo effect is defined as how a person's overall evaluation affects how other people perceive his or her specific attributes. It is a widely known phenomenon, but seldom dig in and find out its true nature. One would assume that this phenomenon is caused by implicit personality theory, how people would make assumptions on attributes that they are not familiar with. People might also say that the overall evaluation of a person can alter an evaluation of attributes because of the vague nature of the description of the attribute, which can then lead to different ways of interpreting it. However, the halo effect is more powerful than that. In the halo effect, a person's evaluation can be altered even with enough information to make his or her own judgment on a not-so-vague stimulus. For example, we consider one to be more physically attractive if we like him as a person. So the halo effect is clearly more than an assumption to unknown attributes or an alternate interpretation of vague terms describing the attribute. Past experiments really haven't done a great job of outlining the nature of this phenomenon when considering the ambiguity of the description of the personal trait and whether or not participants have enough information to go beyond implicit personality theory. This experiment decided to test the halo effect, finding out if and how global evaluation influences evaluation of specific attributes. In addition, this experiment will also try to figure out if people are aware of this effect when they are forming these judgments on the attributes. The experiment gathered 118 students in the introductory psychology department. They were asked to evaluate the professor by watching a videotape interview and were ignorant of the true intention of the study. The professor is a Belgian who speaks English with a French accent. The students were randomly assigned into two groups. One group will watch the professor being very warm, likable, and caring to his students in the interview, and the other will watch the professor being strict, cold, and untrustworthy towards the student. The student will then rate the professor's likability, along with his appearance, mannerism, and accent as his traits. The operational definition of the rating of his trait has 8 levels, ranging from extremely appealing to extremely irritating. The independent variable here is the behavior of the professor, and the likable rating should be significantly different in order for the experiment to compare the two situations. In addition, the students will also be randomly assigned to receive one different question on the quiz. One group will be asked how much the instructor's likability affects their evaluation on his personal traits, and the other will be asked if the personal traits affected the likability. These questions have 7 answers level ranging from strong positive effect to strong negative effect. This is the second independent variable to test out if the participants are aware of the halo effect. Now let's go over the result of the experiment. First of all, there's a significant difference in rating of likability between the students watching the warm professor and the cold professor. From there, the majority of the students that watch the warm professor's interview think he is attractive and well-mannered, while the other group suggests the opposite. Accent-wise, about half of the students that encounter the likable professor think the accent is appealing, while the overwhelming number of students that encounter the cold professor think his accent is irritating. To make sure the professor's specific traits are constant in both situations, the experiment found additional 34 subjects from the same school to view the interview without the audio. They found that the ratings for the traits between two groups are not significantly different from each other, which can conclude that it is the global difference achieved by audio that is influencing the rating of. Across all groups, in both warm groups and cold groups, the majority believe that the overall likability of the professor did not affect how they rate his traits. On the other hand, students who received questions regarding if the traits had an effect on the overall likability have produced interesting answers. Within these students, those who view the warm professor are very divided in the answers. The majority only think that the physical appearance made no effect on the likability, while approximately equal amount of students think the professor's mannerism and accent either increase, decrease, or made no effect on the overall likability. For the students who viewed the co-teacher, the results show that the students believe that each attribute decreased the likability of the teacher overall. This shows that the subjects are not only unaware of the manipulation caused by the halo effect, but also thought it backwards that they think the attributes affected the global evaluation. Overall, this experiment gave us a deeper insight into the halo effect, suggesting that global evaluation has an impact on specific attributes evaluation. Even an individual might have sufficient information for an independent assessment. The results are consistent with the earliest theorizing of the phenomenon that it is more than an effect of presumptions or alternate interpretations of vague terms. In addition, this experiment also showcases people's ultimate inability of realizing the effect of global evaluation on evaluation of specific traits.